Hi everybody, Robert Jones here doing a little video for you guys today. I thought I would try something different and take you out to the garden. The garden this year has been kind of funky. I was just going to let it be fallow. I've got so much going on this summer I didn't have time to plant a proper garden. But all that you see here has come up by itself. So there's basil, there's tomatillos. Over my shoulder there's some kind of squash or cantaloupe. I'm not quite sure what it is yet. It hasn't grown enough. But I thought I'd do a little video since it's October. And you can see it's sunny and bright here in Santa Barbara. But my basil is, I think it's about done. It's about ready to get rainy and start getting colder here. So I thought I would do a little harvesting today. Take you guys on the adventure and show you how to dry basil so you can keep it for your winter and keep it fresh. You can put it in the freezer, or like I do, I'm going to dry it because I don't really have much room in my freezer. So come on over, let's take a peek, and I'll show you how to clip it, and we'll put it in the oven to dry it slowly. That's what I use. I'll show you. It'll make sense. Alright guys, let's check it out. The garden. Alright, so before I get started here, I thought I'd give you guys a little close-up on what the basil look like. You can see we've still got bees going on here. It's in the 10 o'clock hour, which I was told was the best time to harvest your basil because it's dry from the night before. I washed everything with the hose yesterday, so it's nice and clean. Supposedly the best oils are right now. So I also have a box. I don't have a big old basket or anything, so I thought I would cut it and put it in the box and take it indoors. So just a little close up so you guys can see. It's really nice. Okay, so not to be confused, this is a tomatillo plant and this is the basil. You can see this basil down here if you can. It doesn't have a top on it. These are starting to bloom, so I want to cut those back. I'm trying really hard to not get stung out here. There's a lot of bees, which is good. Okay, you guys, check it out. Giant box of basil. It smells amazing. That's mostly tomatillo there, but I did leave some plants going, and that's just fine. So, alright, I'm going to try to avoid getting stung by bees and take this in. Hi everybody, we're back in the kitchen and I have my giant box of basil here. It's shy a little bit less. Had some family stop by and had to give away some basil because everybody needs basil in my opinion. Okay you guys, so here's the deal. So if you look, my basil has a lot of flowers. A lot of it was starting to go to seed, so it doesn't really matter. I don't care because I'm going to be doing drying and I'm going to have a whole bunch of different stuff. So the inside, down in here, you'll see it has some larger leaves, and that's the fresh stuff. And also it has all these flowers. So I don't care because I'm going to dry it all, and then part of it's going to be made into basil salt, which is this thing I've been reading about online that I wanted to try. And if it's really good, I'll put it on my Etsy, and you guys can try it too. The other part is just to dry the basil leaves for herbs and spices. I guess it's just herbs for the winter time. So with that being said, I'm going to show you that I'm going to try to dry my basil in two different pieces, meaning that I'm going to have one batch, which is going to be this side, which is going to be the flowers and stuff, which I think I'm going to grind up and use for the salt, and then I have the leaves over here, which I'm going to dry and use for herbs. You could do it all, it doesn't matter. Now, there's lots of different methods online I read about hanging it upside down and letting the juices go and everything else. From what I understand, picking it at 10 o'clock in the morning is when everything starts to get the juices into the leaves. So I'm not even going to bother with that. And besides that, I have so much that I'm sure the flavor is going to be off the hook anyway. So, did I just say off the hook? I said off the hook. The flavor is going to be fabulous. It's going to be great. So the first thing we need to do is we need to chop all of this, and since I'm going to do it separate, I'm going to cut the flowers off and then put that with and then the leaves. But after I chop it all, I'm going to put it in the sink and I'm going to rinse it off because I have really sandy soil here. It rained here the other day, which was really exciting, but a lot of the leaves are muddy now, so I've just noticed. So let's do that. The other thing I should tell you about is I do a lot of drying at my house. All last winter I dried orange peels, tangerine and orange peels. I also dried a bunch of rosemary, local rosemary here. So I do a lot of drying. So my point is that how you dry your stuff is going to be up to you. I live in a rather arid climate here. It's quite dry most of the time. But my biggest secret is my oven. I have an old-fashioned oven from the 1970s. It has a pilot light and it stays warm in there all the time. It's about 110 to 115 degrees. So it's just warm enough to be hot enough to be dry, but it's not too hot that it burns stuff. So whatever your drying situation is, you're gonna have to figure that out. So if you have a drying machine, or if you just use the oven, or if you just use the natural heat of your house, or if you put them in the outside, just beware that if you put them outside, not to put them in the light, because the light will kill the flavor off and stuff like that. Okay, I've talked about this long enough. So let's get to cutting. I'm going to cut down all of the flowers and wash those first, and then I will go to the leaves after that. So, okay, you guys, so I just have some water in the sink here. People have put vinegar and all kinds of crazy stuff to kill off whatever. I'm just going to use water today. If you feel you need to use vinegar and you need to let soak, but I'm afraid that the vinegar is gonna get into my basil and make the flavor weird. Okay, so I'm just gonna start by just trying to trim off the flower bits so they're all about the same size in the water. It's funny, I'm doing this, I wonder what it's like to be a plot farmer. Okay, you guys, so here is everything that is a flower. So here is my rule of thumb. If a leaf goes in the flower, that's fine, but I don't want any flowers in the leaves. So here's all the leaves. I can see, oh, there's a couple in there, but I'll get them. And so that's a bunch of leaves. Okay, so now I'm just gonna wash these suckers like crazy. Try to take out anything foreign that I see. I'm mostly worried about sand and bugs. Wow, that's a lot. You guys see that? And I can feel some dirt coming out. Mostly though, the tops are pretty good. We had the rain. It's the bottom that has a lot of the dirt from the splash of the rain. Okay, now I have just a cookie sheet with a cookie drying rack or cooling rack on it, sorry. And I'm just gonna put these on here. Okay, so I'm gonna take a towel and then I'm going to try to drain this mostly. And then I'm putting this on the towel. So I have a towel with all of our goodies on here. And I'm just going to try to wrap this up a little bit. Make it tight and give it a shake. Let's see if I can get some... Oh, it's falling apart. Oh well. See if I can get some of the water out of here. You see it dripping? Just means it's going to dry in the oven faster. Okay, so I think we've gotten just about all the water we're going to get out of this. Now I'm going to take our cookie sheet with a cooling rack sitting on it, and I'm just going to put this on here. Now this is going to be a lot for my oven, so I'm going to try to spread it out, and since it's so thick with biomass, if you will, I'm going to have to check this every few hours because I don't want it to get moldy. That's the last thing I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on here, I'm going to put it in the oven, and then let it go for a couple hours, and then I'll move stuff around just so it has an even drying, because there's so much green in here and I don't want it to go moldy. Alright, let's put that one in the oven. By the way, my oven is holding at exactly 108 degrees. That's just where it sits, and it's a pretty good temperature for drying stuff. I don't think you want anything over 120 degrees. Sorry, Palm Springs. I'm going to go put this in the oven, and then we'll do the other one. And now for the part with the leaves, I'm pretty much going to do the same thing here. I'm going to try to take stuff off of the stems. Just doing this by hand, I think. Just pulling leaves. So now I'm going to take the leaves out again, and now that they've been thoroughly washed, just washing the sticks. I want to get sand off of them too, because I'm going to use those later. So, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a very curious person, and I'm curious to see what our yield will be on these in dry ingredients wise. So, I'm going to take a wet measurement of the leaves, get my bowl going here with my little scale, and then when they're dry, I'll take another measurement just to see what the difference is. So, I'm going to do this in grams because it's a much more sensitive. So, here's all our leaves. I crunched them down. I tried to wring the water out. So, we're going to put them in the bowl here. Try to get them all out. In the bowl. Alright, and out of curiosity, what do we got? We have 385 or 390, it can't make up its mind. I'm going to say 385 grams of squeezed leaves. So we're going to put those in the oven along with the flowers, and make sure you turn them every once in a while if they're a lot like this, because I don't want them to mold. Okay, we put those on a sheet, and I will see you guys in a minute. So I came up with this contraption for the set of leaves. The only problem is half of the leaves didn't fit. I have a huge harvest going here. So I'm going to put these in the oven and let them dry for a few hours, and maybe they'll shrink down. I'll keep tossing them, again, because I don't want them to mold. And in the meantime, I will put these out on some towel here, and maybe with a fan on them, just to get them dry and not moldy. Alright, let's get them on the oven. Okay, and you guys, in the final phase of this project, if you want to do this, you can. I'm going to do this because these are delicious, and I will put them up for sale, but just to let you see how the process goes here, so you guys can do this at home. So here are the stems. I also have a tape measure. So my attempt is to get as many 8-inch sticks out of this as I can. If they can't be 8-inch, then they're going to be 6-inch. If they can't be 6-inch, they're going to be compost. So I have kitchen shears, and I also have some big mamma jammas. I think I'm probably going to start with the big mamma jammas. So the first thing to do is to simply remove all of the big branches. This is very exciting, isn't it? You guys see, is that better? Okay. and we'll pick one. So that's not very clean. Let's try the kitchen shears for cleaning this up. There we go. Make this nice and clean. Okay, and now I'm going to measure out 8 inches on here, so we have a stick to go by as a guide. Oh, this one is exactly 8 inches to here. And then I'm going to cut the tip diagonal so it'll be sharp. So when you're skewering your meats or whatever for the barbecue, it'll be ready to go. There is an 8-inch skewer for your barbecue. So I'm going to do all of these. I'm going to try to get 8 inches or 6 inches out of all of them. And there we go. Hi everybody, welcome back. It's been a couple days. Life has gotten in the way, but I wanted to show you where we were at on our basil project. It's kind of exciting. Let's see, we got some different stuff looking here. Remember that giant box? Well, we have been reduced. Okay, so let me give you a little introduction about what's going on here. So, I dried our 8-inch sticks, our 6-inch sticks, our 4-inch sticks, and these can be used for your shish kebabs or anything like that on the barbecue. Just throw them in some water for a couple minutes, let them soak it up, put the meat on there, their vegetables, whatever you're going to do. These are going to go to my Etsy site, so that's what I'm going to use them for. You guys can check that out. So there's that. You can do that with yours, or you can check out my Etsy site. As long as I was doing some dehydration, I also did some butternut squash seeds, which I have here. You guys can check out the butternut squash video. So we got the seeds, those are done here. Thanks again to my aunt, she provided those. So you guys can see you can dry your seeds really nicely too. Now I did not put these in the oven. I put the basil in the oven. I did not put these in the oven because since they're a viable growing thing, I didn't want to have the potential problem of them dying. Okay, so these are the flowers and these are the leaves. You guys see the leaves there? So I'm going to put the leaves, I'm just going to put these in Ziploc bags. And I can use them through the winter, or maybe I might sell some on my Etsy. I'm not quite sure yet. I got a lot of basil still coming, so I'm going to go through that. You can hear them nice and crispy and dry. It took about 3 days in the oven, just with the pilot light on. And then here is the flower section. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip these off of the branches here. And then I'm going to try something different. I'm going to make some basil salt. So I'm going to put this in the food processor or in a blender, and I'm going to make this into a powder and mix it with salt. And again, that's going to be on my Etsy site. You guys can do what you want with yours. So let's get to blending this up. Actually, let's get to put this in a Ziploc. Oh, and I haven't weighed this, so I don't have a final measure on what it reduced to, but we'll figure that out. And there we go. Dry basil bag, put it in the cupboard, use it in the winter. Hi everybody, so I was just noticing as I was editing this video that there's no ending because I thought it was going to be all one video with doing basil salt, but I'm going to split that off and make another video because this one is just running way too long. So, just to give you guys a review about what happened at the end of this video, we ended up with all kind of good stuff. So, we ended up with, first of all, the flowers were ground into powder, which you're going to see in the next video, so that's that. The next thing was, we had 3 different sizes of sticks, so those will be going on Etsy. You guys can do this as well. And then of course we had our basil leaves, which are all dried here. So let me give you the glamour shot. Basil leaves, basil. Drying your basil. All right. So you're probably wondering like what the measurement of this is. 54 grams. So I don't remember exactly. I think it was 350 something grams wet, and it's down to 50 grams including the bag, so probably like 45 grams of dried basil leaves, and these things are amazing. Okay, winding it up. All right, it is the moment you've been waiting for. No, I'm sorry, there's no tasting in this one. I mean, there's lots of smelling. Even through the bag I can smell this. But all right, you guys, I hope you give this a try. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below or find me on Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram or wherever else. EudaemoniusMarkII. All right, you guys. Hope you guys have a good one, and happy drying.